And on to the details now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Tuesday said that he would discuss with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu measures that Israel still needs to take to increase the flow of aid into Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel on Tuesday with plans to discuss the increased flow of aid into Gaza. Blinken is expected to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday. Blinken told reporters earlier in the day that he intended to discuss aid that is still needed in Gaza during his meeting.
We're determined that people get the assistance that they need. And we're doing that in parallel with seeking to secure a ceasefire and the release of hostages. That's also the best way to create an environment in which we can maximize assistance getting in, ease the suffering of people, and also create the conditions for an enduring, lasting peace.
Well, Netanyahu has vowed again on Tuesday to go ahead with the long-promised offensive against Hamas in the southern Gaza city of Rafah. Netanyahu said that with or without a deal, Israel intended to pursue the operation to destroy the remaining Hamas combat formations in Rafah. Israeli officials have said the operation could be deferred if Hamas accepts the deal on offer, which includes no definitive ceasefire but the return of 33 vulnerable hostages, women, children and those in frail health, in exchange for a much larger number of Palestinian prisoners and a limited pause in the fighting. The Israeli military said 2 divisions which left Gaza last week were refitting and repairing equipment and holding training and operational assessment exercises in preparation for continued operations in Gaza. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday called on Israel to follow through on its promise to open 2 crossings into the northern Gaza so aid can be delivered directly from Israel's Ashdod port and Jordan, and to allow safe, rapid and unimpeded aid access throughout Gaza.
Nearly 7 months after 7 October, the situation for people in Gaza is worsening by the day. I've called consistently for a humanitarian ceasefire, the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages, and a massive surge in humanitarian aid. Unfortunately, that has not happened yet. But negotiations are once again underway. For the sake of the people of Gaza, for the sake of the hostages and their families in Israel, and for the sake of the region and the wider world, I strongly encourage the government of Israel and the Hamas leadership to reach now an agreement.
And the United Nations on Tuesday warned that an Israeli assault on Rafah in Gaza was on the immediate horizon. The UN Chief Martin Griffiths in a statement said the world has been appealing to the Israeli authorities for weeks to spare Rafah, but a ground operation there is on the immediate horizon. He added, the simplest truth is that a ground operation in Rafah will be nothing short of a tragedy beyond words. And World Central Kitchen said it has resumed operations in Gaza on Monday, a month after 7 workers of the US-based charity were killed in an Israeli airstrike. Prior to halting operations, WCK had distributed more than 43 million meals in Gaza since October, representing by its own accounts 62% of all international NGO aid. The charity said it had 276 trucks with the equivalent of almost 8 million meals ready to enter through the Rafah crossing, and will also send trucks into Gaza from Jordan. Well, the U.S. military has started building a large floating pier off Gaza's coast to facilitate the delivery of humanitarian aid. Ships will deliver aid from Cyprus to the pier, where it will be loaded onto trucks to transfer across Gaza. The pier will be attached to the shore by a temporary causeway, which the trucks will use. U.S. officials say the pier will be operational by early May. Once operational, up to 150 trucks of aid could be delivered a day with 2 million meals, enough to feed almost all of the territory's 2.3 million population. Well, the lawyer who allegedly brokered the hush money payment between Donald Trump and an adult film actress has testified that he believed the former president was behind the deal. The court in New York also fined former President Trump for multiple violations of its gag order as his criminal trial over falsifying business records continues. Ira Spitzer reports for more from New York.
More drama at this unprecedented trial here in New York, where Donald Trump is being charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records to facilitate a hush money payment to an adult film star. The first session of the trial's third week kicked off with Trump being fined $9,000 for multiple violations of a court-issued gag order over social media posts he made disparaging potential witnesses and others connected to the trial. Then two witnesses took the stand who said they were involved in the hush money payment allegedly arranged by Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen. The first witness, banker David Farrow, testified that Cohen opened a bank account for a newly created company and transferred money from his personal home equity loan into that account in 2016. And that was the account used to pay $130,000 to the adult film actress Stormy Daniels, who alleges she had an affair with Trump in 2006. Later, the jury heard from a lawyer named Keith Davidson, who at the time represented Daniels and Karen McDougal, another woman who has said she had an affair with Trump. Davidson testified that he shopped settlement deals around on behalf of both of his clients, ultimately selling McDougal's story to the National Enquirer for $150,000, and that story was then killed to avoid Trump looking bad. And while Davidson said he worked directly with Cohen, it was his understanding that Trump was the driving force behind a deal with Daniels, an assertion that Trump's legal team objected to. Trump has denied having affairs with either Stormy Daniels or Karen McDougal. Prosecutors are seeking to prove that the payment, which Trump denies making, undertaken ahead of the 2016 presidential vote, rises to the level of election interference. The court will now take a day off before resuming the following day. Ira Spitzer reporting in New York for DD India.
Well, Britain has initiated its first transfer of an asylum seeker to Rwanda for irregular migrants whose applications have been rejected. According to the report, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's government plans to begin the expulsions by July. Detainees will quickly be moved to detention centers until they are put on planes to Rwanda. As part of the voluntary scheme, the government has said it would pay asylum seekers up to £3,747.60 each to move to Rwanda. The British government last week adopted a highly criticised law allowing for irregular migrants to be deported to Rwanda. The British government said it expects to deport 5,700 migrants to Rwanda this year in the scheme aimed at deterring migrant arrivals on small boats from Northern Europe. And Ireland's government said on Tuesday it planned to enact legislation by the end of May, allowing it to resume sending asylum seekers back to the United Kingdom. The Irish High Court ruled last month that Ireland could not send back people who arrived from the UK seeking asylum because the Irish government had not outlined whether they could be at risk on their return. Prime Minister Simon Harris set out plans for Justice Minister Helen McEntee to overcome the High Court ruling in remarks to Parliament. In earlier comments, Harris urged London to stand by a 2020 agreement that allows for asylum seekers to be returned in either direction. And Georgian security forces clashed with protesters outside Parliament late on Tuesday after lawmakers debated a foreign agents bill. The bill has deepened divisions in the country, setting the ruling Georgian Dream Party against a protest movement backed by opposition groups, civil society, celebrities and Georgia's figurehead president. Parliament, which is controlled by the Georgian Dream and its allies, is likely to approve the bill, which must pass 2 more readings before becoming a law. Lawmakers ended Tuesday's session without a vote and the debate will resume on Wednesday. Thousands of anti-government demonstrators have shut down Bill C's central streets on the nightly basis since Parliament approved the bill's first reading on the 17th of April. And Haiti's Transition Council on Tuesday named Edgar Leblanc, the former Senate president, to head the body instated last week. The council also tapped Fritz Belizaire, former Youth and Sports Minister, as Prime Minister. The 9-member council, which was sworn in at the National Palace last week, consists of 7 voting members and was established with the help of the Caribbean Community and Common Market. It is tasked with the responsibility of naming a new Prime Minister and cabinet. The committee will exercise certain presidential powers until a new president-elect is inaugurated, which must take place no later than February 7, 2026. Meanwhile, displaced by the violence in Port-au-Prince, Haitians have taken refuge in the northern city of Cap Haitien in an attempt to keep themselves and their families safe. An International Labour Day, also known as May Day or Workers' Day, is annually observed on the 1st of May in more than 80 countries, including India, Cuba and many others. The day is celebrated to recognize and honor the significant contributions of workers and mark the historic labour movement that aimed to promote workers' rights and opportunities. 1st May became associated with the labour movement in the late 19th century after trade unions and socialist groups designated it as a day in support of workers for better working conditions, fair wages and shorter working hours. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Berlin on Tuesday night, celebrating the eve of May Day with a peaceful march. Rioting warmed up for the following night. Rioting on the 1st May Labour Day holiday, which started in 1987, flares and fireworks went off on rooftops along the route as the demonstrators carried banners reading "Abort Patriarchy" and "You Will Not Silence Us." Dozens of people get injured after train carrying over 150 passengers in bus crash in Los Angeles. Emergency responders came immediately after the incident. A total of 37 individuals received on-site treatment and were subsequently released. No casualties were reported. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. President Draupadi Murmu's maiden visit to Ayodhya's Ram Temple. Political merchandise is gaining popularity in India amidst ongoing general elections. And unabated heat wave conditions continue across India as maximum temperatures cross over 40 degrees Celsius.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, India's President Draupadi Murmu will visit Ayodhya on Wednesday and offer prayers at the Lord Ram Temple. This will be the President's maiden visit to the Ram Temple, which was inaugurated in January. Ahead of the President's visit, mock drills along her route were also conducted. And now let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, the nomination process for the 6th phase of Lok Sabha elections commenced on Monday. 57 constituencies, including 7 from the national capital Delhi, will be going to polls in the second last phase on the 25th of May. Let's take a look at who all candidates will find nomination papers today. Bharatiya Janata Party candidates from North-East Delhi, Manoj Tiwari, will file his nomination papers accompanied by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Wednesday morning. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami will be in Delhi today. In his presence, BJP's East Delhi Lok Sabha candidate Harsh Malhotra will hold his nomination rally beginning from Priyadarshini, Bihar. 14 out of 80 seats of Uttar Pradesh will also witness polling in the 6th phase. BJP candidate Menaka Gandhi from Sultanpur in Uttar Pradesh will also file her nomination papers on Wednesday. She is also scheduled to hold a road show. Another party leader, Jagdambika Pal, will file his nomination from the Domairiganj seat of Uttar Pradesh. Samajwadi Party leader Dharmendra Yadav will file his nomination from Azamgarh Lok Sabha constituency of Uttar Pradesh. Meanwhile, with initial 2 phases witnessing low voter turnout, political leaders are leaving no stone unturned to appeal from the voters to come out in large numbers. With 3rd phase just 6 days away, campaigning has intensified for 94 Lok Sabha constituencies spread across 12 states and union territories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a public meeting in Bansankantha and Sabarkantha in Gujarat. Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah will be campaigning across Chhattisgarh, Karnataka and Telangana today. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister and BJP leader Yogi Adityanath will be in Maharashtra, where he will hold a public meeting. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge will be in Karnataka today, where he will hold a public meeting. Another Congress leader and former Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel will hold various programs in Chhattisgarh. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav will address a public meeting in Jaswant Nagar of Etawah district in support of Mainpuri Lok Sabha candidate Dimple Yadav. Well, with ongoing general elections, political merchandise is gaining popularity in India. New innovations in products are grabbing youth's attention. DD India's Tripti Tripathi reports for more.
In the world's largest democracy, the stage is set for a thrilling election. As India gears up for a monumental 2-month-long election, the nation is abuzz with activity. And amidst all this election merchandise has become a hot property.
देश हाईटेक हो रहा है, ऐसे ही चुनाव की प्रचार सामग्रियां भी हाईटेक होती जा रही हैं। आज के बैच जो बन रहे हैं, पार्टियों के लोगो बन रहे हैं, वो लाइट वाले भी होते हैं। टोपियां भी भांति-भांति की अलग-अलग प्रकार की बन रही हैं। टी शर्ट पे आप अपने प्रत्याशी का नाम छपवा सकते हैं, उसकी तस्वीर छपवा सकते हैं।
Flag makers are expanding operations, while garment factories are temporarily transforming to meet the surge in demand. The cost of badges, flags ranges from ₹1 to ₹50 and even to ₹100, depending on the quality and size.
People ask for a variety of election merchandises so that they can support their favorite leaders. Also, many of them ask to print their party logos so that they can wear it and go out to vote. This encourages other people who don't go for vote and also create other employment opportunities for the people.
And it's not just the physical markets that are buzzing. The digital realm is abuzz with political fever too. E-commerce giants like Amazon, Flipkart and Meesho are capitalizing on the election fever, offering a plethora of election clothing, catering to the newer, younger generation of voters.
मैंने भी अपने चुनाव के दौरान अपने जो भी चीज़ यूज़ होनी थी, टी शर्ट, स्कार्फ, कैप, सभी मैंने ऑनलाइन मंगाई हैं और वो बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी में आई हैं।
As political parties spare no expense in this quest for victory, the economy gets a much-needed boost.
The journey towards a ballot box is not merely a political process. It is a celebration of nation's unity and spirit. From old-fashioned merchandises to the new age e-commerce products, every aspect of economy is touched with the ripple effect of democracy in action. Prasar Bharati reporting for DD India.
Well, Bhopal, the capital city of Madhya Pradesh, is among the 9 seats that are going to polls in the third phase. A bastion of BJP for the last 35 years, Bhopal is witnessing a fierce fight between two fresh faces fielded by BJP and Congress that are contesting the elections on the issues of infrastructure development, unemployment and cleanliness.
The capital of Madhya Pradesh, also known as the City of Lakes, goes to polls in the third phase of the general elections in India, along with 8 other constituencies of the central Indian state. Bhopal has various natural and artificial lakes and is one of the greenest cities of India. The city was the capital of the former Bhopal state, a princely state under the British rule, and was ruled by the Nawabs of Bhopal until India's independence in 1947. And still has various examples of the pre-independence architecture. Bhopal has been a bastion of the BJP since 1989, and the BJP has held the parliamentary constituencies for the last 35 years. This election, both the BJP and the Indian National Congress have fielded new candidates for the constituency. The BJP candidate is Alok Sharma, former mayor of Bhopal, who is promising people with more employment, better infrastructure and development for the city.
प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के सपनों का भोपाल कैसा हो, इसमें हम जनता के बीच में गए हैं, जनता से हमने संवाद भी किया और जनता के जो सुझाव हमारे पास आ रहे हैं, बहुत ही जल्दी हम भोपाल के विकास का एक रोड मैप मैनिफेस्टो के रूप में जारी करेंगे। सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबके विश्वास को लेके भोपाल में भारतीय जनता पार्टी लोकसभा का चुनाव जीतेगी।
Meanwhile, the Congress party has fielded Arun Srivastav, a lawyer by profession who seeks to break the winning streak of the BJP in the city.
इस समय सबसे बड़ी समस्या बेरोजगारी की, हर घर में 2-4 बेरोजगार बैठे हैं और कोई प्लानिंग गवर्नमेंट की तो भोपाल में मेरे को दिखती नहीं है। आईटी हब की बात की गई थी, वो नहीं हुआ।
Meanwhile, the people of Bhopal highlight the infrastructure development and cleanliness drive among the major works done by the government in the last 10 years.
बहुत काम हुए हैं, तालाब की साफ सफाई हुई है, तालाब का बिना फिल्टर से भी पानी पीते हैं लोग। ऐसा नहीं कि इसको फिल्टर होगा जब भी पीते हैं, लोग बिना फिल्टर से भी ऐसा हाथ में आप लोगे तो नल के पानी में और ये पानी में कोई मिस्टेक नहीं है।
While some are hopeful of more employment under the new government, calling it the biggest poll issue.
कर्मचारियों की सुनवाई, कर्मचारियों को महंगाई भत्ता देना या जो भी सुनवाई हुई है वो ये वर्तमान सरकार नहीं करी है।
पेंशन नहीं मिलती है तो उसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं हमें आगे चले कुछ ना कुछ तो करना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर पेंशन नहीं मिलेगी तो कहीं ना कहीं समस्या तो खड़ी होनी ही होनी है।
Bhopal is not just the capital city of Madhya Pradesh, it is also the power center of one of the largest Indian states. And with both the national parties that are contesting elections in the city, the Indian National Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party fielding fresh faces, new candidates, there is hope that finally people-centric issues will take the center stage in the politics of the city. In Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, with camera person Ramakant Sharma, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Heat wave continued across India's maximum temperatures crossed over 40 degrees Celsius. Intensely hot conditions are expected in East India until 1st of May and the South Peninsular region over the next 5 days, the Indian Meteorological Department said. In an inspiring incident, the daughter of a vegetable vendor from a small village in East Indian state of Jharkhand emerged as 12th grade state topper. Zeenat Parveen said that the goal was to now prepare for civil services. And on to some sports news now. Shivam Dube and Yuzvendra Chahal have been named in India's 15-player squad for the upcoming T20 World Cup, set to be placed in the West Indies and the USA. Meanwhile, Sanju Samson and Rishabh Pant are the 2 wicket-keepers named in the squad. The squad is led by Rohit Sharma and has Hardik Pandya as vice-captain. Star batsman KL Rahul has been dropped.
India's T20 World Cup squad is out. Rohit Sharma captains the team with Hardik Pandya as vice-captain. Rishabh Pant, Shivam Dube and Sanju Samson have been selected in India's 15-man squad. Yuzvendra Chahal is also back in the mix with Kuldeep Yadav, Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel in the spin department. Jasprit Bumrah leads the pace attack with Mohammad Siraj and Arshdeep Singh. Rohit and Virat Kohli return after a break with Yashasvi Jaiswal opening alongside Rohit. Shubman Gill headlines the reserves. The squad is like this: Rohit Sharma, captain. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson, Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dube, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Yuzvendra Chahal, Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. Reserve players: Shubman Gill, Rinku Singh, Khalil Ahmed, Avesh Khan. India began their 2024 T20 World Cup campaign against Ireland on June 5 in New York and then play Pakistan, USA and Canada on June 9, 12 and 15. Sports Desk, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.